Good morning and welcome to MARKANGEL Realty. My name's Mark.
And I'm Angel.
We are MARKANGEL Realty here in lovely Sarasota. It's a gorgeous morning today and we wanted to give you a little news flash and a little lesson on how to prepare for an inspection once you've got that wonderful offer on your home.
Yes, that's correct. And we actually have an inspection today at noon, so we thought this was the perfect opportunity as we're going through things in our head and telling our clients what to prepare for, that you might enjoy the same thing.
Yeah, so this is July 2021 and we listed a property, a villa home, a 2-bed plus a den about 7 days ago. Within the first 5 days we had our offer, it's a fabulous offer, and so we've gone straight to contract. Now we're pending and we have inspections. The buyer has chosen 10 days for her inspection period. So we have inspection number 1 today that we're preparing for, and have spoken to the seller about this inspection and how to prepare. So as soon as we got the offer, we presented the offer to the seller, and then we talked to the seller about how to prepare for the next step.
That's correct. And I think that you can tell everyone how you prepared the seller for the inspection, and then I can tell everyone how we prepare for the inspection.
Right, so that's really a great way to introduce it. It's a 2-part step. So I spoke to the seller or sellers about how to prepare their house for today, and then Angel's going to talk to you about how we're going to re-prepare the house after they've prepared it for the actual inspection today, prior to inspection. So we sat down and I spoke to the seller about all of the items in the house that will be on the inspection today, and told her to turn them all on to make sure they're working. It sounds silly, but an inspector's job is to inspect the property, not to work out how an appliance or a light or a fitting works. Now, what do I mean by this? Let me give you a very, very simple example. Somebody may have turned off their refrigerator to clean it the week before the home sale or the inspection. Very common. Or even a range or a microwave. And then day of inspection, the inspector comes into the house and opens the door of the refrigerator or turns on the button for the microwave, and there's no action. The inspector's job is not then to research whether the product or item has been plugged in and is working correctly. It's just to denote on the day of the inspection whether that particular appliance worked or didn't work. So that would be a failure in this particular example, and the inspector, rightly so, will just mark it as a deficient item. So when the buyer gets that inspection report, they're going to read through it with their broker, and it's going to say refrigerator or microwave was deficient. They're going to expect or have an expectancy of having to buy that appliance new once the property closes, or if they intend to close on the property. Now, this simple action of making sure that that appliance was plugged in and was working could have saved the deal. The buyer may well decide that the expense of replacing, repairing, or working on that item was more than they had chosen to bear. So this is what we told Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Pretend that you're the inspector, go around your home this weekend prior to the inspection and turn everything on. Every light, every switch, every plug a hairdryer into every outlet, make sure it's working, put your washing machine on, your dryer, your refrigerator, run the hot water, run the cold water. Make sure all of those items are working, and if they're not, deal with them prior to inspection. This will cause the inspector to have an easy process during his inspection and not mark anything deficient. So, day of inspection. Knowing that the owner has gone through the house, changed light bulbs, make sure anything was repaired, replaced, or taken care of prior to the inspection, before the inspector gets to the house, we're going to go in and we're going to do that again for Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We personally want to make sure that that inspector, when he gets to the property, walks in and sees all of the lights on. That's not going to be a deficient mark on the inspection because he can see they all work proficiently and the way they're meant to. We're going to make sure that all of the tops on the stove are working. They all turn on, they all get hot and they all turn off. We're going to go through the house and we're going to turn all of that stuff off. Obviously the stove top we're going to make sure is nice and cool for when the inspector gets there, but we're going to recheck it prior to the inspection. Any fans we're going to turn on. Any remotes connected to fans or light switches, we're going to make sure they're easily accessible and marked for the item that they turn on or off. These seem like very, very simple processes, but can really fail a property purchase transaction just because we didn't do this prior to the inspector getting to that house. All seems very simple, right? But the simplest thing can fail an inspection and can fail a transaction. We've had it where a simple light bulb wasn't working in a living room. A simple main light bulb. That made the buyer think that perhaps there's an electrical problem in all of the house. It was a very simple 60-cent change of a light bulb. Hadn't been done prior to inspection, but can lead to quite dramatic consequences. So lesson learned, now everybody must take this super serious. It's one of the most early important parts of the transaction that needs to be really thought out and really done well. Did I cover that about right?
You did mine for me too.
Okay, now, oh, I'm so sorry, I did
That's
too.
okay.
I can
okay.
waffle on sometimes
That's
because
okay.
my head goes through the transactional process.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add to that and talk about?
No, the only thing I would add is that as the agents for the seller, we prepare in advance. You tell the seller what to do, and we show up early for the inspection. We do go in, do exactly what Mark just said. We turn everything on, make sure everything's working, and then we actually sit in our car and let the inspector do his job. It's better when the inspector is left on his own without questions from sellers or even really buyers at that point. Just let the inspector do his job, but we're always available. So in the event something doesn't work or he has a question or he can't access something, all he has to do is ask us and we're right there immediately waiting to assist him or her. And then when we're done, we close everything up, turn everything off that we turned on and leave the property the way we found it.
That's right. Angel just made a super good point. It's important not to communicate with the inspector. Allow the inspector to do his job. Houses or properties have history, and there may have been a fuse that was changed 5 years ago, or a light fixture that didn't work and needed some attention. And because people naturally want to communicate the history of their property because they're proud of it, excited about it, and they love it, they often want to give more information than is necessary. So when an inspector walks to turn a light switch on, it's quite often the case that a seller may say, "Oh my God, you know that light? I got it from Italy. It was so wonderful. It's incredible. But you know, when we first got it, it didn't work. And I had to have this handyman come round and he had to do a whole bunch of stuff to make it work for me." Now, the seller just informed the inspector that a handyman, not a licensed electrician, came and did some work on a utility in the house, and that there was an issue that he didn't know about in the past that he didn't need to know about because it wasn't a problem today. Now that's a natural occurrence for people to want to communicate through excitement and pride of their property, something that has happened historically to their property. If it's not in the seller's disclosure and it's not something that needs to be disclosed and is pertinent to the sale and will change the reason why a buyer would or would not buy the property, it's not an important conversation for us to be having with an inspector. So we always suggest that Sellers always remove themselves from the property during the inspection, and we as professionals also do the same and sit out in our car for an hour or two just to make sure we're available for the inspector and he knows we're there. But we're not there to have a conversation and become friends and talk about the history of the house's plumbing or electricity if it's not disclosed on the seller's disclosure. It's very important that the inspectors get their chance to do their job. That's what they're paid for, that's what their profession is, and they do it very well when left alone. We also suggest that buyers, and this will be another conversation that we'll have in another tutorial, because we have a different set of rules and a different set of processes for a buyer that's attending an inspection and is preparing for the inspection day. And we'll talk about that in a later video. Please come back and check our videos as often as possible. We are MARKANGEL Realty here in Sarasota, and this is our real estate news channel. You can see MARKANGEL Realty. We're actually a mortgage company and a homewatch company as well. We consider ourselves to be a 360 real estate company. And Angel is going to show you one of our other things that we do. We are authors, and we have produced several books that are very exciting to read. This particular one is
How to Sell Your Home for More Money. And MARKANGEL Realty is known for getting top dollar for our clients. We are. Yeah, there's actually a specific set of rules and a specific set of processes that we have to use to get top dollar. It's, you know, one house left by one professional can get a certain dollar value, and we know how to make that same property get a higher dollar value by using certain techniques and processes that we've perfected over the years. One of our specialities is actually being able to sell properties that other people can't sell, and we know how to do it very well, and we've been incredibly successful over the years. So if you have questions on that subject, please email us, call us, text us, and we'd love to answer those. We're super excited about the answers. So, yeah, the next two videos, look out for. I would like to do one on the seller's disclosure, which is a whole video in itself, and I think it would be extremely helpful. And then expired listings. So, thank you, Angel. You can find us at markangelrealty.com, homewatchsrq.com, and text us at 941 500
5501. And it's Mark Angel. Mark saying goodbye. Have a nice day.
Angel saying goodbye. Have a beautiful day.
We'll see you again soon, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in. Bye-bye for now.